Hey, we're live. Hey, folks. Hey, it's Jason. My name is Jason, sometimes known as the JTL, but not too often in recent memory. And this is the Painfully Honest Tech Podcast. I have with me here my friend, my co-host, the guy who makes all this stuff. Who are you again?
My name is Zach. I make all the stuff.
Yeah, I'm having a senior moment. Oh, yeah.
That's a great way to start the show.
Yeah. I have senior moments more and more often.
It's like, did you hear that there's a new Rambo movie coming out this year?
No, I didn't.
Sylvester Stallone's like 70 something. So what's he fighting this time? Alzheimer's?
Probably. Although, I mean, I gotta say, Sylvester Stallone in the last like 10 years or so has had a little bit of a renaissance.
Yeah.
The Creed movies are good.
Yeah, I like how he's kind of going back and kind of closing off the characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Creed 2 yet because,
I haven't seen Creed at all, but I mean,
it's really good. Like Michael B. Jordan is such an amazing actor. And so he's really good in it. And Sylvester Stallone, I think he's written both of them. Did you know he wrote Rocky?
Yeah, I knew about that. And like I've seen a whole bunch of specials like behind the scenes,
right?
Of like like how it kind of came about and everything. Yeah.
Hashtag Wizard Squad. Welcome. No name. Bob the Builder. Oh, geez, who else do we got out? Oh, we got El Jefe in the house. What are eyeballs and a hammer all about? I don't know. Patrick.
Well, that's not a hammer for El Jefe. That's popcorn.
No, I'm looking at it right here. Eyeballs and a hammer.
Oh, that's his band hammer.
Oh, I see. Okay, good. I'm glad that's out. We got who else do we got out here? Scarto Azul. Marshall M, Khalil Mirza, sorry about that. Draftsman Parker, Damian Santos, Kevin Meads, Nick JC. Okay, I think
Bob the Builder. Do you see that?
Yeah, I called Bob the Builder out. He was excited before we came on. He was like, "Oh, only 30 seconds." Then we made him wait for another 2 minutes.
Welcome.
Yeah, see, that's the problem. Zach and I get on here like 10 minutes early, and then we're already talking about stuff, and we don't hit start. So
I'm leaving it up to you this week because you know that I can ramble to keep us on track and not to go. Because what did we do? Like 3.5 hours last week?
Yeah.
It was fun, right?
It was fun, but I don't want to do that again because again, I was like totally wrecked the next day. I'm too old. To quote Danny Glover, I'm too
there
old.
You go. Get too old for this stuff.
Craig's Tech Talk. Good to see you. What do I think about Swappa? I use it. I like it better than eBay. They're a little bit more anal about stuff, but that's probably a good thing.
There's serious steps when you're selling stuff on there. Like you have to take every angle picture and
and you gotta so.
But you know what? It's protect the buyer ultimately. So it's a good service. I've used it twice, but it's expensive for me when I'm selling to people in the United States because I got cross borders and everything. So
right, yeah, I've found that stuff sells really quickly, and I always pay like the extra $5 to feature it or whatever it's called. So I find that stuff sells pretty quickly, and it's pretty easy overall.
And if you can find your favorite, as a buyer, if you can find your favorite YouTube creators, tech reviewers on there and bookmark them, then you know you're getting solid products.
Yeah, maybe that's why I sell stuff quickly. I don't know.
I definitely tell you, like, Jeff Springer, right?
Yep.
He's close to hitting 100,000 actually. He sells his stuff on there constantly. So
yeah.
GameSki in the chat.
Tech for your needs. He's also got his band hammer out. Carlo Paris, Robert Young Jr., and Spotify or Apple Music. I use Apple Music because it works more like my old man brain than Spotify does. However, I just saw as I was breezing through the news before we got on that Spotify Premium now includes free Hulu.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, and Hulu is the one service that I don't have.
You should watch the Fire Festival special on there. It's really good.
They had that one on Netflix too.
It's not the same though. It's completely different.
Oh, really?
It's a completely different look at things. In fact, I would say that the Hulu one goes a little bit deeper.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, yeah, I mean, they're both fairly good. They're both fairly
Yeah.
Hey, there's this guy named Viper in the chat.
Viper is on fire tonight.
He is.
He is. He always puts like a dozen flames on here, and I'm.
Yeah. So I want to really quickly. I want to congratulate both you and Flossie Carter for having maximum potato cameras for your live stream.
Thank you. I can't figure out how to not like this is terrible. I'm using the Logitech Brio because I just don't feel like I can't get a good angle because the desk is back against the wall. I can't get a good angle with the DSLR to use.
And you don't want to use the cam link and go into the good camera?
Well, I can't get an angle because like
okay.
You know, it would have to come over this speaker and there's nothing behind the speaker but a window.
Okay. Well, I'll send you a webcam.
This is like supposedly the best webcam you can buy.
Talk to your buddies at Logitech. Get that C960 and away you go.
I don't know. This Brio is supposed to be the new like hotness.
I don't know, man. But you know what's really good about calibrating those and might be able to help you is Vox.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. He's got 1,000 videos on him.
Yeah. Isaac Samo, I think that's how you pronounce it, is saying the S10 is lit. In fact, you and I are going to talk about that.
We are. It's on the list.
I got my phone yesterday and yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got my phone last Friday.
Yeah.
And it's blurry. That's terrible. How can I need to fix that. It's awful. I don't know how to change like the freaking I don't know how to change the frames or anything. It's terrible.
Well, just stand still or just sit still.
Okay. Even my mouth is not working.
What else are we going to talk about today, Jason? We got
we've got a few things to discuss.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the internet turns 30.
It's amazing. It's actually quite young.
I'm not seeing myself now. I tried to get the camera software out and now I'm not seeing myself.
Well, you're frozen on my end, and for the people, yeah, you're gone.
Well, shit.
Turn your camera on, or
I'll unplug it and I'll plug it back in
the Hangouts thing if you can.
Oh, in the Hangouts thing. That's
yeah.
Okay. Turn camera off. Now you just see my face, and I'm back.
There we go. Don't touch anything else now.
Yeah, this is really bothering me though. Like I'm all blur. Anyway, it doesn't matter. This is a podcast. It's not going to be up on the podcast. We're relaunching the podcast, people. That's part of the excitement here tonight. The podcast is relaunching it's the Logitech Brio. Tech for your needs. The podcast is relaunching. We're going to be on Studio 71's podcast network, and it's going to be like a real thing. Like they're going to try and sell advertising on it. That's and cool. All that kind of stuff. So it'll be like a real podcast. It's going to be called Only Painfully Honest Tech.
Cool.
Although when we refer to it, I assume we'll still have to call it Painfully Honest Tech Podcast because it could get confusing.
Hey, we should also talk about Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I want to talk about Captain Marvel, but I think that there'll be a lot of people who won't be happy with what I have to say. But we'll talk about it.
It should be interesting.
Yeah, my daughter just posted a video.
So internet turns 30, and then we have this the Samsung patents that you sent me here from Tom's Guide about these foldable
wristband phones.
You know what the picture reminds me of is I'm
gonna put the link in the chat.
You know, remember those wristbands as a kid? You would slap it on your wrist and it would wrap around.
See, that was when I was like 40.
That's what this reminds me of.
Well, see, it's like what it reminds me of are Wonder Woman's gauntlets, her little bracelets.
Ah, yes. Okay. Yeah.
So and it's the whole design that I've been talking about ever since we've been talking about foldable phones. I said that's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
And now Samsung just dropped the patent for some of it. So that's pretty cool. But we're also going to talk about the S10 for a bit. You know, our experiences. I'm on day 4.
I'm just over 24 hours now.
Tanner Does Tech, how you doing? Miyobi, we are rocking. I did not watch Leaving Neverland yet. I almost watched it last night, and I was like, I don't want to be so depressed.
Please keep in mind that it's not a documentary. It's a mockumentary because it's completely one-sided, and that's all I'm going to say about it.
Well, I mean, I haven't watched it. I can't say anything. However, I don't think there are too many people who are surprised to find out that Michael Jackson may have actually abused children. It's not the world's most well-kept secret.
Well,
so just talk to Corey Feldman. He'll tell you all about
but Corey Feldman will still say anything to get on television nowadays.
Macaulay Culkin. Also.
Yeah. Someone's dead, they can't defend themselves. Years of allegations and never convicted. And you have 2 people that are now doing a quote-unquote documentary that have continuously changed their stories over the years. And the stories have completely changed, whose families have histories of extracting and trying to gain wealth and fame through the relationships. Yeah, it just makes me question a lot of things. That's all.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't be because you love Michael Jackson, would it?
No, I just look at the facts of the situation. I'm not saying I don't, at this point, I just want to listen to the music. So, yeah.
So we've got
Myobi's asking if I watched it. Yes, I've watched both parts and Oprah's follow-up thing.
Oprah. Well, that gives it gravitas right there. Oprah.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
You know.
Well, for years she championed him and defended him, and now it's like I said, someone's dead. They can't. I mean, everybody jumps on the defense thing nowadays. Jesse Smollett is a perfect example of that. Nobody looked at the facts of the situation, and everybody, went to town defending him, and facts came out. Just saying, it's unfortunate how our society is now. Everything's guilty and then proven innocent. Everybody jumps on top without getting facts first, and it's just disgusting. So.
Well, yeah, I suppose. But like I say, I think Michael Jackson, potential pedophile, has been something we've been talking about for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, we don't have to talk about that because whatever. But we will. Jussie Smollett. I've never seen the TV show that he's on. I couldn't give 2 craps.
I remember him from one of the Alien movies, and that's it. I can't remember which one he was in. One of the more recent ones.
Yeah, I don't know who he is. It's weird. It's weird. Why would you want? I don't even know what you could possibly think you're gonna get out of that, because you're gonna get caught.
Yeah, it was pretty. When I first heard the story, it was through Philip DeFranco. He was reporting on it. And the one thing that stood up for me is when he said that he kept the rope or the noose around his neck until the police showed up. And that just seemed really odd.
Well, I mean, I don't know anything about it. Haven't paid any.
I don't know anything about
anything other than the headlines, but yeah. I could see the reasoning behind that being like, oh, I've been assaulted. I'm I'm not in danger right now. I'm going to leave everything as it is so the police can document it. I could see that being a thought process, but clearly that wasn't the thought process. It was fraud.
And so from what the police have said, back in January, apparently he had sent a letter to the studio, like a threatening, racist tirade type letter. And it didn't get the traction or attention that he's wanted. I don't know. And then the speculation is that he wants the attention to get more money. Just to get the attention, I guess. And there's obviously a money thing here. And then he took the next step and paid these guys with a check. He paid them with a check.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
just people are stupid. That's all I have to say about it. People are stupid.
Yeah.
And they'll do
and on one hand, I really think it's actually good that a lot of people jumped to the defense and were in his corner and saying that this is wrong, and that was really good. But on the other hand, I guess you have to carefully weigh that with, okay, what are the facts of the situation? There's nothing. I mean, there's just a lot of kind of I guess alarm bells and everything like that. And again, that's why police get involved and they investigate, right? So yeah. I always felt the story was kind of weird at first. I'm like, what? Like he kept it around his neck, and that sounds weird. Like, let's hopefully the police can figure out what happened. And then the truth card coming out, I'm like, what? And it's just, it should be very, very interesting.
Yeah. It's bizarre, and I don't know. Anyway, this is a tech podcast. What the hell are we talking about? What the hell are we talking about?
We did the off-topic stuff. You want to talk about the S10 and how it's been so far?
Yeah, let's talk about it. I started to talk about it, and somehow we got on Michael Jackson and being a pedophile.
I don't know.
So here it is.
Yeah.
Galaxy Note or S10.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, yours isn't blurry.
Here's mine. I'm using this Death Trooper wallpaper, which is really cool. I like it a lot. Here's
my question.
Mm-hmm.
Does the Empire also have life troopers, like battle ready midwives or something?
Well, we only saw the Death Troopers in Rogue One, and they were all taken out when they shot up the planet there. So yeah.
Okay, so the S10. I've already done a video with my initial thoughts, so I'll let you go first. What are your initial thoughts, Zach?
My initial thoughts are, I remember why I miss this form factor, and why I'll probably pick up the Note 10, but I will stick with this. I like the stylus and everything like that on the Note 10 and everything like that. Obviously, the Note 10 is going to have probably a bigger battery, more camera,
6,000 milliamp hours.
This and that and everything, if you believe some of the rumors or anything like that. So my initial impressions are 2 thumbs up. There are a few things here and there that people may not like, but there's no red flags. No. I have one big thing here, because this seems to be a point of contention for a lot of people. People are really loving the ultrasonic, or they really hate it and they just can't get used to it. Okay. What I did from the start when I did my unboxing, and hopefully I'll post that video tomorrow, is I took off the screen protector that came with it. And I actually registered my main thumb, because I'm right-handed, so I hold it with my right hand primarily. I actually scanned my right thumb twice, and then I did my left thumb once. And since I did that from the very start, I have not had one unlocking issue in the last 24 hours since I got it.
Yeah, I haven't done that, although it's been suggested many times in the comments of my video. I haven't done it yet. However, I probably will. I need to register this thumb. I didn't think I used this thumb very much, but clearly I do. Hey, Danny Winjet is in the chat. CJ also here. How you guys doing? Yeah. I need to remap all the fingerprints.
But I haven't had any issues. Like, for example, our friend Justine, she published a video, I think it was yesterday. It was like a vlogging thing, like a day, kind of like a day in the life of using it. And she's still having that issue. And of course, you got everybody saying, scan it this way. Honestly, at the end of the day, it shouldn't be complicated, and it's not. But for me, like I said, I took off that screen protector that came with it, which I would even call it a screen protector. It was just a flimsy little thing of plastic. And I scanned my main thumb twice, and I haven't had any issues.
Yeah, I think I always I kind of go at it from the side too. Like I hold my phone in my left hand, and so then I go at the thing from the side. And so I think I need to redo it and do one from that side too.
Yeah. Hey, Danny, wait in the chat. Naked all day. I'm completely with you. I mean, I'm in agreement with you. I actually put that on my Twitter that I don't like using screen protectors. But
so all I read was naked all day, and I had this image in my head that now just won't go away.
No,
it's seared into my brain.
Talk about the screen protector, man.
I know it's like I don't know, but you, Danny, it's not an image I want in my head. It's confusing. We got motivation theory in the house. Christopher Hernandez.
And the battery life has been awesome.
Yes. Yeah,
amazing.
I've been super impressed with the
I turned on dark mode right away. Do your eyes a favor, everybody. Do your eyes a favor. And if you get this phone, or if you have any phone that has this feature, or if you're up to downloading themes, whatever, download or turn on your dark modes. Your eyes will thank you for it.
Dark mode, all day. I mean, I'm super glad that I would always go to the Samsung store and download like a dark theme. That would be the way that I would get it done.
Yep.
But when I saw dark mode native to the operating system,
Smart
I was like,
move.
Ooh, yeah.
And I like One UI. I know it looks kind of cartoony and this and that compared to Samsung Experience, but I'm finding it a lot easier to find settings that I would normally have to search for. I like how they've kind of color coordinated things. I really like how they've done it. Now, on the flip side, I've seen some people complain and saying that it's hard for them to find stuff because of the color thing. So, I mean, you can't please everybody, it seems like. But I definitely have to say that One UI, coming from TouchWiz, it used to be TouchWiz, and then it became Samsung Experience, and now it's One UI. This is a step up. I'm very pleased with it.
The only one of those UI names that makes any sense at all is Samsung Experience.
Yeah, One UI is kind of
One UI is like I start singing U2 songs at that point.
And the camera, I mean, I've just taken some photos around the house. Really happy with that. I like how the wide angle's on here. I've talked about the wide angle lens on my Mate 20 Pro that I absolutely love. So it's great that it's on here. But yeah, after 24 hours, definitely thumbs up. There are, like I said, I've had some false touches here and there, like you and I were talking. I think you talked about one of your videos about.
Yeah, I did. I did.
So I've had a few issues here and there where I'm watching a video, and because my palm comes over, next thing I know, I'm clicking on a different video. So I think that partially, hopefully, it's a software thing can be fixed. But at the same time, you got to think. I was using the Note 9, which was a lot wider, so my palm wouldn't come over as much, and this is a little bit narrower. So I think it's a combination of that, and
it's kind of amazing to me. Like if you put this phone up against, well, I've got it in this stupid case. If you put this phone up against the XS Max, I mean, this phone is svelte in comparison.
Yeah,
it's really thin and light, and
I like the weight of it.
Yeah,
I know I've heard some people say, well, I don't like how lightweight the S10 Plus is compared to my Note 9. And yeah, it is quite significant. I know that the ceramic version of this will be, I think it's about 8 grams heavier, which is significant. Our friend Viper has the ceramic, but I think the weight is good.
Yeah, I do too, and I turned off. I see they're talking about the brightness. I turned off the auto brightness because it was just making things too dim.
Yeah, you know what? And they say that auto brightness, at least this was in the past, actually it takes more power because the phone has to work on.
Right.
So I typically usually have my brightness all the time around 60, and I've always been happy with that. I leave it at 60 and I'm done.
Mine's a little bit below 50,
Yeah.
And the only time it's a problem is when I'm outside. But of course, I never go outside.
Yeah, we don't. We're creators. We don't do outside.
Yeah. So I will. I mean, I feel well. People accuse me every year of like, oh, you're gonna. I like this phone a lot.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I've noticed is that I haven't quite gotten used to, or I didn't realize how much I came to rely on, when you pick up an iPhone and Face ID recognizes you, if you have it set to like open up your notifications,
Mm-hmm.
I haven't quite gotten used to the fact that that doesn't happen here.
Yeah.
You can just tap on it and it takes you to your notifications, but I like that feature because like it would allow me to just pick up my phone, look at it real quick, and see what notifications I had, and then put my phone back down.
One of my favorite features is this. Well, here I'll turn it off. Is the you can see right there. You can't really read it, but I mean the always on display. But I like how they've made the icons like colors now rather than all one color, and I'm really digging that because I can just look over and I see a little shade of blue, and I'm go, okay, that's a Twitter. That's a. I mean, even between YouTube, which is red, and then emails are a slightly lighter red. I mean, it's just little things like this that I'm, thumbs up, Samsung. Good job.
Yeah, I always felt like the always on display was a little flat and boring before. And of course, when they first started doing always on display, we didn't have the kind of, ability to optimize the battery like we do now. So it had to be probably just white. But now, like, I don't know, the color makes a huge difference.
So do you remember when you were first booting up the phone, it asked you about the battery optimizer, like to turn apps, like turn them asleep?
Yeah, I said no.
So I turned that feature off because I've had issues in the past with some of my Huawei phones, not Samsung phones, my Huawei phones, where you don't use an app for a while, and then I'm missing messages like through Hangouts or whatever because the companies I work with. So I've actually turned that off from the start. So I'm not using the optimizer at all, and I'm still impressed with it. Like I'm at 78%.
Yeah,
I unplugged this at 8:00, and I've been on it all day.
Yeah, I actually didn't charge my phone last night. I woke up, it still had 40%.
Right?
And I used it until about lunchtime today. I plugged it in and let it charge up, and now it's at 89%.
I'm blown away. Yeah.
And this is the kind of battery life that I was getting on the iPhone XR.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and did you change your resolution from the FHD to Q?
Yeah.
So I'm using the Q as well. Yeah, and it just
yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty impressive. It's pretty impressive. Most of the problems that I have right now are just the problems of me, being used to using iOS for a while and trying to learn this UI and how it wants to work. But I'm really impressed with this phone.
Yeah, no, and I want to almost go online and order a 10e just to put them side by side. But if this is the kind of performance I'm getting out of this, it sounds like the 10e is going to be awesome. I have a couple of friends that are going to be picking up 10es this weekend, so I'm looking forward to getting together with them and checking things out.
Did you see the Marques Brownlee? I saw a GIF on, GIF. We don't need to discuss it anymore. I saw a GIF on Twitter of him using that side button fingerprint reader thing, and
how quick it was.
Yeah,
to me, it didn't seem any faster than like what we've seen on OnePlus or anything. But yeah, it's insane. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I was impressed.
Okay.
I was impressed.
And one thing, speaking of fingerprint things, going back about how people are having problems with the ultrasonic, keep in mind, everybody, that this is a first generation for the ultrasonic. And if you know the history of Vivo, so for example, I own the Vivo X20 Plus UD, which is the first phone in the world to use an under display, and then I bought the X21 from Vivo. And then, of course, I have the OnePlus 6T, and I have a couple other Vivo phones here that all use under display. Again, they're optical sensors. Just seeing how fast they went within a 9-month span with those phones to how faster they are now, that's going to also happen with the ultrasonic.
So when we see the Note 10,
I am convinced that it's going to be easier and faster and more intuitive. I'm 100% convinced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't doubt it at all. Yeah, I want to say that there's some sort of major flaw or, something about this phone that makes me not like it. I mean, the closest thing is the incidental touches, which everybody is like, just put a case on it. And I was like, dude, I don't want to put I'm not putting a case on it.
For me, so far, it's been the speakers. I mean, I don't find them as good as the Note.
Well,
and it's hard to explain what
I
good
don't have
is.
that to compare. Yeah.
It's hard for me to explain that. Yeah.
They sound okay to me.
Yeah.
But I've been using headphones quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I don't know. I when I was in Las Vegas, and that reminds me, every time you say Vivo, I start to sing an Elvis song.
What? Viva.
Bright light sitting on the set my soul, gonna set my soul on fire. Yeah. So if you're surprised that I know all the words to that song, then you don't know me very well. Because I know the words to just about any song as long as it was released before 2005.
If you guys are into, like, if you love music in general, check out Jason's other channel where he sits down with a guitar and cries as he sings, and it's awesome. Yeah. It's awesome. He doesn't cry, no, but you have a really great voice, and I still think if I had enough in me, I could still sing you under the table, but it'd still be better than me sober. I know you would be.
Yeah, see, you'd need me to be drinking more than you for that to work. And since I don't drink anymore,
yep.
And
I can appreciate that you can still joke around with this despite, that major change in your life. So thank you.
Well, I mean, there was a time when I couldn't. There was a time when it was still super uncomfortable. But like today, I was teaching a class.
Oh yeah.
And I was just like, yeah, I'm a recovering alcoholic. First day of the class. First day of the class. And we were talking about a book that we had read for class, and I was making a point of some kind and just mentioned that. And I don't know if people were shocked by it or not, or if I talked about it enough that people know. I mean, it's kind of weird when you teach and you do YouTube.
Mm-hmm. You
can't, your brain doesn't remember which audience you've told what to.
Mm.
So but yeah, I used to, it used to be really difficult. Now it's totally fine. We haven't talked about The Last Waltz yet, and I didn't rewatch it, although I assigned everybody.
I couldn't find it on demand or anything on the weekend. When you assigned it last week, I meant to watch it, man. Sorry.
It's gotta be somewhere.
I checked Google, I checked Netflix, I checked even my on-demand service with my internet or with my cable provider, and I couldn't find it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, I could have illegally downloaded it, but
well, I mean, there are ways that it can happen. But I understand.
Mm-hmm.
I was using a VPN and everything else. I downloaded a couple of movies. I was using a VPN, and still the VPN went down for a second, and then I put it back up, and I got a nasty letter from my service provider.
Uh-oh. You know a movie I watched the other night just by chance? It was just weird and weirder as it went, but I couldn't stop watching. Scarlett Johansson in Lucy.
Yeah, that is a weird movie.
That's a weird way. It kind of made sense. And then when she, at the end there, I'm like, what is going on here? But at the same time, I'm like, Scarlett Johansson, I could still roll with this. It's okay. She's got these fabulous eyes.
Yeah.
She has the sexiest eyes in Hollywood. I know that sounds weird, but she has unbelievable eyes.
See, I can't tell if that's one of if those are the kinds of things that we're like, are we supposed to?
It's not a metaphor. I really mean her eyes. Like, I'm not talking about.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just saying, like, sometimes I like stop and think for a second and think like, okay, is it cool to express your appreciation? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because part of me feels like it should be, but part of me understands why people might take it the wrong way now.
I see what you mean. The whole,
You know,
people being offended by everything.
yeah, because the whole objectifying, blah blah blah.
I just think she has beautiful eyes. I don't know how. That's my opinion. I mean, there's plenty of women out there who have beautiful eyes and everything. But when I look at Scarlett Johansson, I'm like, her eyes, just boom. Right?
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. In fact, speaking of actors, I guess this is a good time, since we're just randomly talking about actors, to switch over to what I should hopefully be a spoiler-free discussion about Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Because I went to see it on Friday with my wife and my daughter, and I liked it. I didn't love it. I feel about it the same way I feel about most Marvel movies. Which is
a superhero movie.
It's like sort of candy corn entertainment. It's not substantive. It's not like, Shakespeare or anything.
Did you feel as though the movie or the dialogue or the subtext was trying to make some sort of statement, though, as some people seem to be taking it kind of personally?
Man, there are some really insecure men in this world.
Yeah,
that's all I got to say.
Boom. There you
that's
go.
all
Boom.
I've got to say. Because
it's the same people that got upset with Gillette, right?
Yeah, that's stupid. I mean, toxic masculinity and you with your gun are not the same thing. Well, maybe they are the same thing, but I mean, you're taking it the wrong way.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the Gillette thing where people reacted to that and like, don't tell me how to be a man. Whatever. Here's the thing. People are complaining. There's this channel that it seems it only comes up in my feed whenever something like this is going on. Some conversation about a film is going on. It's this channel called The Gathering.
Okay.
And it's just this dude who makes 20-minute long videos. Like, at first I thought he was like a smart dude who made really good observations about things. And then I realized that he's just like a troll. He's just a troll who uses big words. And so he was complaining about Captain Marvel and this whole, it's ruining the MCU and blah 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 blah. And all of these doomsday predictions, like nobody else in the Marvel universe, actors wise, wants to work with Brie Larson, blah blah blah. So what? They're adults. They're getting paid. Shut the hell up. They're getting paid a lot. I mean, do I want to work with half of the people I work with? No.
Yeah.
But I'm getting paid. So anyway, this guy was going on about it. Everybody going on about it. How they're trying to say that there have never been any strong female lead characters. That's the impression that they're trying to create with Captain Marvel.
Oh, give me
is that they're saying that the folks who made the movie are saying that they have this movie with this strong female lead, and it's righting some kind of wrong that has been going on through history.
You know what? There have been plenty, and if you want to go back, there was a little movie way back in the 90s called Terminator 2.
Yeah.
It had a very strong female lead,
played
by the wonderful and talented Linda Hamilton.
Yes.
So blow it out your butt.
Well, see, but the thing is, and this is how I have to keep reminding myself how stupid the internet is.
Oh, it's just terrible now.
Now, here's where all of this discussion started several years ago, when they were talking about the fact that Marvel had not had a female lead in a standalone film. Marvel's universe had not had a female lead in a standalone film.
Do you count Scarlett Johansson as?
But no. She's been in ensemble cast movies.
Okay,
but she wasn't in a Black Widow movie.
Okay, sorry, I keep
right.
You keep on saying standalone. Sorry.
Yeah. So that's what people were talking about when this whole thing started a couple of years ago, at least. At this point, and now these internet troll weak man idiots are conflating it to be to have them say like, oh well, there's never been a strong no, that's not what anybody ever said. It's not what anybody ever said. It said Marvel had never had a female lead character as the star of a film. And that is true.
Yeah.
And DC beat them to it with Wonder Woman.
Yeah, which I thought was awesome.
It was a really good film. Yeah.
I never even thought about the whole equals this, and then I went into Wonder Woman going, all right, awesome character and origin. I can't wait, to see this. Right? That's right. What it's supposed to be.
Django has told us that this is a tech podcast and we should talk about tech. He did include the word please.
He did.
Well, here's the thing. This is in the milieu of tech. Geeks talk about geeky stuff, including tech and including superhero movies.
Yeah, we'll move on from this soon. Well, go ahead and finish your thought, though.
Well, that's my whole thing. Is that I hate it when somebody grabs onto something and they say, "Oh, they're saying this," and then the whole internet blows up.
Yeah,
like I watched a bunch of videos about Chris Boutte last night.
Rewired Soul, yeah,
the Rewired Soul. Because I'd watched a few of his videos, but I hadn't really followed his channel all that much.
Do you remember that?
I don't remember.
I met him very briefly. It was the night that I went and had dinner with who was that? I had dinner with the Niman brothers along with Nico from Morning Fame was there. There was a whole bunch of us. We all sat out in the patio.
Right. Yeah. No, and so I went and looked at that, and it's to the point now where what people like the videos that he's getting heat for have been taken down.
Yeah.
So I can't go and watch those videos and form my own opinion.
Yeah. I go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
So I have to watch these reaction videos.
Yeah. Some of them were kind of over the top.
Yeah. Well, they're making all kinds of weird. They're making all kinds of very weak half arguments.
Well, here's my main thing, and maybe I've missed it in past videos. People are saying he's diagnosing people, this and that. Did Chris ever actually say, I'm a certified, or I am, I'm right to diagnose? Or did he simply say, I've been through this stuff. These are the steps I took. This is my opinion on the situation, because those are completely different things. I don't know this for sure, but right. I don't think Chris has ever actually said, I have this in my background. I know I went to school, I'm certified, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if Chris ever said that.
I mean, there are plenty of people have sort of dug through the internet Wayback Machine and found different kinds of things that are, go one way or the other. My point is the internet, and I guess this is the point we were making when we were talking about that guy from that TV show. Everything is like a disaster. The internet is like a disaster every day. No matter what's happening, it's like today is a disaster. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so I don't know. It's
no middle ground. It's like 0 to 100 for people, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly, and that's frustrating. And one of the reasons that I've sort of been paying attention to it is it's the 100,000 thing.
Mm-hmm. It's
that phenomenon at 100,000. Happened to me.
Yep.
Where I hit 100,000, and I admittedly I was able to play kind of a little bit more fast and loose with how I said things and what I said and all that kind of stuff. But as soon as I hit 100,000, man, people were holding me accountable.
Oh yeah, no, I saw an immediate switch in terms of even the toxicity of the comments in your comment section. I'm like, whoa,
yeah,
whoa,
and that's died down over time.
Yeah,
But the thing is, I think that we're seeing the same thing with Chris. Now, like I said, I haven't watched a lot of his videos. But as Viper says here in the chat, he made like 70 videos about Shane Dawson and 44 about Jake Paul and 17 about whoever that Trisha Paytas.
Yeah, like that's excessive. Like, holy cow.
Yeah, and so maybe that is a little over the top. However,
I mean, talk about riding the algorithm train.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
How many iPhone videos have I made? I mean, it's a lot.
There's a few dozen.
It's a lot. I've made a lot of iPhone videos.
I mean, that's different. You're talking about a product and a service compared to like people. I mean, yeah,
I know. Well, that's. I would never put myself in. I guess I have made the Can You Trust videos, and that's talking about people. But
no, I think no. Don't go there, because you have always, in my opinion, carefully weighed your Can You Trust. Your Can You Trust is not a hit piece. It's not. You know what I mean? It's not one-sided.
Yeah, I mean, I've tried to make it sort of as fair and balanced as I could.
Yeah.
And I don't like using fair and balanced because I think that's the slogan of Fox News. But yeah, I think that's their slogan.
Okay.
I mean, irony so thick you could do whatever. But yeah. I mean, I think there's something about getting to that marker. You hit 6 digits, and you hit 6 digits, and people are like, "Oh, this is serious now."
Mm-hmm.
Like
you kind of pass the threshold, and you kind of hit like a whole different terrain. Yeah.
And I don't see anybody who I know that has hit 100,000 who hasn't had some sort of hiccup where they had to make an adjustment and sort of recognize the new rules of engagement. So, which is in fact, that Tech Free Needs, that's how Paul Gross-Close's video, he has made 2 videos about Rewired Soul, and they came up in my home feed, and
there's a part 3 coming, and I think of all the videos I've seen so far, and I'm just not saying this just because I'm friends with Paul and everything like that. Paul's taking kind of a different outsider view type of stance and explaining what's going on, and obviously there's some of his opinion in there and everything like that. So I'm looking forward to part 3, which is going to really kind of wrap things up, because it seems like almost every 24 hours there's something different that's happened. So he's had to add or subtract things and everything like that. So
yeah, it's one of those things where I appreciated Paul's videos because they weren't 25 minutes long.
Yeah.
I mean, some of those folks, they just turn the camera on and they talk.
Just rant.
If they don't, and it's not even ranting, they're just sort of talking and they keep going in circles.
Well, people are just, I mean, not everybody's going to be like you or I or like Viper or whatever. They're going to just kind of pour their souls out and give their opinion. And there's an audience for that. And then there's, like ourselves that, maybe want to kind of condense things down into, facts and everything, and just kind of, keep the train on one track kind of thing. Right. By the way, yes. You trimmed the beard.
I did, and I made a video with the beard, and freaking nobody said, "Oh my, look at you." I guess, why should I expect that? Well, the reason that I'm expecting it sort of is because I kept getting all of these. I kept getting all these troll comments from people like, "Oh, looks like a homeless guy just crawled out from a drain pipe and started making a video." Like,
homeless guy with 10 grand worth of computer equipment in a room. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. It's like,
but okay. Seriously, like I don't know if I can call you a wizard anymore. You don't really.
Well, I still got a little bit of the pointy.
Okay.
So that's still there. But you ever get that? I mean, I know you get it because you're like hyper aware of your hair.
I mean, I've been really lazy over the last week, and I'm going for a haircut tomorrow, but yeah.
Yeah, but I just started to feel like the weather the temperature went above 30 degrees a couple of days in a row, and I was like, this feels icky. So I'm just going to trim it down.
So you did it yourself? You didn't go to an expert?
I am an expert of it's my face. Okay. I'm an expert.
Okay. I don't want. You know who else trims his own beard hair? And I'm just saying that I'm not saying you shouldn't, but they say you shouldn't because some people just don't know when to stop or anything like that. Super Saf does his own. I actually asked him once on Twitter. I'm like, who trims? He's like, nobody touches this except for me. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I don't doubt it. I mean, that thing has
Viper correction. It's next door to a beauty salon, but the place I go to is called Tommy Guns. Sorry, continue.
Yes, that's right. 504. A homeless guy with a $400 mic and
There
a
you go.
$5,000 computer. And that's me. That's me. That's why I'm homeless. I spent all of my money on technology.
Yep.
But you know, and then there were the ubiquitous Santa Claus comments.
I mean, you were there. You were almost there during Christmas. You could have started getting the length and.
Yeah, I know. Well, the whole trimming back thing started because, like, one thing about trimming your beard is if you make a mistake, you have to go shorter.
Motivational Theory has a great beard and haircut.
Yeah, he does. He really does. It's true.
Like it's nice and squared. Looks really good.
Yeah, and you know, so, but somebody told me today on Twitter that I took 10 years off my life.
I mean, yeah, you look a little bit younger, and I can't believe you asked about don't color your.
No, somebody just like suggested it, and I was like, I wonder what people
the salt and pepper thing. Like, my wife would kill me if I colored this. She's like, no, I love this, and don't.
The problem. I mean,
what did your wife does she appreciate that you've taken off some of the gnarliness?
I don't think she cares, one way or the other. I mean,
you lean in for that painfully honest kiss.
We've been married for 20. Well, we've been married for 17 or 18 years or whatever, but we've been together since 1992.
That's awesome. I'm going to celebrate 10 years with my wife in May.
That's awesome.
10 years married, and I guess 15 years total knowing each other. It's crazy.
Genosis says he wants a trimming tutorial from me and a hairstyling tutorial from John Prosser.
I think that'd be great.
I bounce back and forth between thinking that John Prosser like uses heavy product to get that look, or that it just does that and he can't help it.
I don't think he does anything. I think John secretly just has like a bowl of water and a comb and just, and it just kind of flies off to this side and that side. And then he just throws on one of his hoodies and gets up and yells at a camera. I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
Yeah. Yeah.
We need to get a beer bomb or oil sponsor. Like DeFranco has his own products now when they're in stock.
Yeah.
It's called Beautiful Bastard. That'd be cool to get them.
Painfully honest hair care. I don't know.
Oh, there you go.
Painfully honest pomade.
There, I'd buy that.
It's nothing but bacon grease. It's bacon grease, and that's it. That's all it is.
Oh man. All right. Let's switch things up here. I tweeted. I sent you a link.
Yes.
I'm gonna find. Okay. This is really cool. I'm gonna make sure that this link works, and I'm gonna put this in the chat for everybody. It's from PCMag.com, and mapping state by state tech trends, Android versus iOS. So I encourage everybody that's in the chat to maybe go take a look at this link. Obviously, keep us going, and it kind of maps out visually, what the majority of people apparently use in each of these states.
Yeah. There are some surprises here, and not some surprises.
I was surprised to see Hawaii, like Android.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
Those guys are supposed to like hang loose and
like
be all chill.
And like I'm on my board, man.
I mean, I'm not surprised that California and New York are iPhone states.
Yeah.
Right. I'm looking at the states that were Android, and there aren't very many. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
I wish they had done this for Canada.
10, 11 or 12 of the 50 states are Android more than iPhone.
Yeah.
And that kind of surprises me.
Mm-hmm.
It surprises me because Android phones, there are more flavors of Android phones available.
What state is it that's directly below Montana? It looks like a square.
Directly below Montana looks like a square. That would be Missouri, I'm pretty sure.
Is that Missouri?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because Montana is directly south of Alberta, where I am.
Right.
So
So above that would be Nebraska.
and what's the state in the top right there?
That's Maine.
Maine? Okay.
Yeah. So
I don't know my states. I'm sorry. Yeah.
It's okay.
I mean, I know where Texas is.
I'm not surprised about Maine. I mean, Maine seems like they're a little odd up there, so Androids makes sense.
Careful now. You don't know who's in the chat. You don't want to piss off too many. Don't piss off too many people this week. Jason.
I think they will agree. They would agree with me. You know, Wyoming. So North Dakota is an Android state, and then Wyoming is right. Wyoming is below Montana. It's been a long time since I did my geography.
Ladies and gentlemen, keep in mind that Jason is a teacher.
Yeah, but I don't teach geography. I create worlds out of my mind.
Okay.
Yes, Missouri is below. Well, it's not directly below Iowa. Is it? Maybe it is. No, maybe it is. Oh, yeah, I think you're right. Okay.
I mean, I'm not surprised that Alaska is Android.
Me neither.
Me neither.
Well, I mean, I'm not. Yeah, because
I mean, Canada honestly should just take.
They can see Russia from there.
I mean, who's Palin? Was it Palin that said that? I can see Russia from my front porch.
Yeah, so it was the whole thing. She's from Wasilla, Alaska, and somebody commented on one of my videos or something, saying that they were from Wasilla, Alaska, and I wanted to ask them so badly. I wanted to reply to their comment so badly and say, "Can you see Russia from there, from where you are, from your backyard?" But I didn't because it's a tech channel. Why should I inject any sort of political humor into it? But we can now actually do a one-to-one political humor and tech. Tech and political humor came together over this end of last week.
Okay. Oh,
so yeah, Tim Apple.
I can't believe it's still a story.
The only reason it's still a story is because somebody won't stop talking about it.
Well, so here's the thing. I'm not gonna I'm not trying to defend Trump, but I do enough sales presentations and enough in the contacts and the work that I do outside of YouTube that I have made similar mistakes. I'm not saying I've called somebody Mark. Hi, Mark Facebook. But I've made mistakes where I've cut out words just because I've got so much going on in my brain that I just want to get the words out, and it just ends up being.
I'm not sure so much going on in the brain was
Trump,
but anyway, yeah, that was weird. And then there's crazy. Nobody asked for an explanation. Nobody asked for any kind of why.
He was saving time.
Yeah,
he was saving time. Oh my god! Why did you just say that? I was jumbled up and it just came out because he didn't even stop himself. He just kept on going, and that's why I'm saying that there's so much going on, and there's there's all these people watching. I think he just was just talking and just. He made me. It's a simple mistake. Do you remember a couple of years back, there was a news reporter that they threw it to this girl in the field, and everybody thought she was having a stroke. Do you remember that?
It sounds familiar, but I don't exactly.
I can't remember what the context was, but you can look it up on YouTube. And she's and she's trying to get the words out, and then finally they go back to studio, and everybody thought that she was having a stroke, and in the end, it was just nerves. And she couldn't talk straight.
Yeah,
it happens. And again, I'm not making an excuse for that.
Then again, she's not the president of the United States.
I know. But I mean, everybody's going to hold him to a higher regard or think that. I just think it's funny that it's still a story.
It would have just been funny, and people would have laughed, and it would have gone away.
He could have turned it around easily and joked about it on Twitter, you know what? Hey, Sorry, but I thought it was cool that Tim.
I gained a little bit of respect for Tim Cook.
Yeah,
because I just always think that
Does
Tim
it
Cook
still
is
say-
like super straight-laced dude, but he made his Twitter name Tim Apple.
Does it still say Tim Apple?
I don't know if it did. And
it still says Tim Apple.
iJustine changed her Twitter name from iJustine to Justine Apple.
Did she really?
Yeah, she did. She did.
Yeah.
So
no, I think it's funny that he did that, and he'll probably change it back soon. But I think that just shows. I don't think Tim Cook was ever offended. I think he was like, okay. I think he probably got back with his handlers after and went, did that just happen? And here and went online and changed it, right?
I mean, there was nothing offensive about it. It was just a mistake, and it was funny.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it allowed me to see that Tim Cook has a sense of humor, which I guess means that he's not like some sort of machine. Like they created an run Apple machine.
He is human.
After like Steve Jobs oversaw this as his last project. We need to create a run Apple Android machine. Mm-hmm. Isn't that ironic? It's an Android. But
let's talk about this was brought up on a front page tech show, one of his episodes recently, about how apparently Mark Zuckerberg has an escape tunnel or chute of sorts.
Yep.
In either his office or one of the boardrooms.
Okay.
What? Like, why?
Not a lot of people like Mark Zuckerberg.
No.
I mean, that makes sense to me. I don't see.
Do you think it's like a panic group type thing, or?
Well, I don't know. There were always rumors that Barry Manilow always had a tunnel underneath the stage so he could like kiss his significant other before each show without being seen. I don't know. Who knows with Mark Zuckerberg? I mean, he seems like it could be a little bit of a tinfoil hat guy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you would have to imagine that anybody, Tim Cook does a good job of not seeming like he's heavily guarded, but you know that he is.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Zuckerberg doesn't really go out into public all that much, as far as I know.
Yeah.
But all these guys have heavy security.
Mm-hmm.
They pay a pretty penny to make sure that they're not in danger. So it doesn't surprise me that he has some contingencies laid out for how to get away in case of an emergency. I mean, as bad as it is to say, I mean, last year there was an active shooter at YouTube.
Yeah.
So gotta be ready.
Yeah. Let's talk about I think it's March 25th. Apple's putting on an event. Is it the 25th?
Yes.
I'm just gonna say this. I don't think there's gonna be any hardware. I think it's gonna be all services and software.
I mean,
I don't think it's gonna be any hardware.
This one is typically not hardware. Last year they did the iPad education model, or as most people like to call it, the cheap iPad. The one that most people should buy.
Yeah.
But that was an education specific event, and that's what they did in March. Whereas this year, I guess now we know that it's going to be called. They're calling it Lights, Camera, Action, or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's going to be about their new services with it's going to be their new streaming service and that kind of thing.
I have to agree with Gianosis. He says here hardware will get silently rolled out. I think I have to kind of agree with that, because you look at last year and they just, here's some new MacBook Pros. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
And everybody was excited until they used them.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think if anybody really, I mean, I'm not an expert when it comes to the Apple stuff, but I just look at the history year over year, and typically when they've done these March, April things, we've never seen hardware, but we've always seen something later on, a press release, and here's our new, here's some MacBook Pros or whatever, right? So,
yeah.
Admittedly, I heard about the new MacBook through Renee Ritchie, and then the press release came out, which I thought was brilliant.
So here's my thought, though.
Yeah.
This year, so the iMac has not even seen a hardware refresh since late 2017. No, it was June 2017 when the newest iMacs were put out. So they're a couple of generations behind in terms of processors, et cetera, et cetera. We're due for an iMac update.
Yeah.
And I
like a Pro, right?
No, I think it's just going to be straight up iMac. I think it's going to be all screen, baby.
Do you think it's going to be like a modular system?
No, not the iMac. I think that, John Rettinger made a great video about the new Mac Pro that's supposed to come out this year.
I saw that. Yep.
Apple has said modular. Mm-hmm. Modular means something different than like interchangeable parts.
Yeah. Can I say something really quickly? I like seeing how happy John Rettinger seems to be now, since he kind of is now doing his own thing. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
He seems
like he's having a really good time.
He's having a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun watching his content. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
He's got Jonathan Morrison shooting the last couple of
videos. But you got him helping you out, right?
It's like, that's
Sorry, go on. You were saying.
But yeah, I think the iMac this year, they're going to come out. It's going to be all screen, minimal chin. You still got to get the Apple logo on there somewhere. Mm-hmm. Minimal chin, place to keep some of the hardware, et cetera, et cetera. But nearly bezel-less with the screen.
Yeah.
And that will be very nice. The one thing I think they really have to do with the iMac is have a standard off-the-shelf model that includes an i7 processor.
That would be, rather than starting at i5.
Yeah, I mean, you have to special order an i7.
Yeah.
And that's a pain in the rear end.
Mm-hmm.
So
has Apple ever done? So they released the new Mac Mini last year, which is that little box thing, and then you supply your own monitor. Have they ever done a Pro version of that, or has it just always been Mac Mini?
Well, the Mac Mini is kind of like, the way that they've done it now is you can get one with an i3 chip in it, and it's just basically like a internet browser kind of machine, or you can get I think all the way up through an i7.
You can, and because I was looking at, because that I with my current setup, I have a 35-inch widescreen here, and then it's going at USB-C into a MacBook Pro. What I want to do is move the MacBook Pro off so I have it for mobile, which is what it's meant to be, because it's a laptop,
right? And
put a Mac Mini there to replace it in terms of spec. I mean, I know I can, but I'm just wondering, they've never done a Mac Mini Pro, right?
Well, yeah, and I mean, the thing that keeps it from being Pro level, as Genosis said here in the chat, is no dedicated graphics.
Okay.
So they don't have anything that has dedicated graphics in the Mac Mini line, although they do say that you can use external GPUs. Now
you can use their Blackmagic and a couple other ones. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think most people have decided that the Blackmagic is the dog's breakfast, and Razer probably makes the best looking enclosure. So yeah, it's Tech Leathercraft, a Mac Mini with a graphics card might have some problems with heat and temperature, but I mean, the Mac Mini is almost 3 times as thick as the MacBook Pro, and MacBook Pro has dedicated graphics. So Danny Winchett says he's using Thunderbolt 3 with the eGPU. Now, is that on the Mac Mini, Danny?
We should try to get Danny in here one of these nights.
Yeah, one of these nights we'll have to have you on as a guest, a real live guest, after we relaunch the podcast into some sort of new stratosphere that it's going to be in, which I told Studio 71 today, 1 month before, until new podcast.
So April?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
April, 15th-ish, whatever that will be.
Cool.
Danny, if the Mac Mini had been out when I was looking to buy a machine that a desktop machine, I would have bought a maxed out Mac Mini before I bought the iMac Pro.
See, what I'm looking at is I'm looking at the specs and everything like that I currently have my MacBook Pro, and then I'm going and I'm looking at the website. I'm going, okay, here's a similar spec Mac Mini,
right?
And there's no reason why it shouldn't work. I mean, it's the same, right?
No.
You know the kind of stuff I'm doing. I'm doing this. I'm doing the Final Cut stuff. I'm not doing anything terribly intense because Final Cut obviously is optimized for Apple and everything. So.
Yeah, and I think the only thing that you have to that you'd have to account for is the graphics. Like for if you're doing video and you shoot in 4K, so if you're doing video shooting in 4K,
but I render it down, like I proxy it and then I bring it back up.
Right.
So it just is faster to work with, right?
I've never done proxy. I mean, I'm shooting in 1080p, but I've never done proxy.
You don't necessarily have to, but it's just easier on the system. That's my understanding. I've always done it by default, though. So
yeah, but yeah, I think if you were to use a Mac Mini for any kind of video application that was more than like making a home movie, you would want to have an eGPU.
Mm-hmm.
And the nice thing about an eGPU as compared to something that's built into the machine, especially with Apple, is that eGPU can have another, until like PCIe 3 stops being a thing, you can stick new GPU after new GPU until, you every 2 years you could stick a new GPU in there, right?
Yep.
So I think that's, in some ways the Mac Mini is good on that front, but again, it's another one of those things where like off the shelf, I don't think you can buy an i7 Mac Mini. Danny, you have one. Maybe you can tell me different, but I don't think you can buy an i7 off the shelf. I think you have to order it. Which I get that, like, Apple's probably not going to sell a ton of really powerful Mac Minis, except, I mean, a lot of people use them in their businesses, graphic design, where there's a server, et cetera, et cetera. They'll use Mac Minis as desktop base stations. But yeah, I think the Mac Mini, yeah, it's an upgrade to get the okay.
Why do I have a feeling that Danny's just like sitting at his computer right now, just itching to jump in here with us?
I don't know. He could be itching, but not for that reason.
Oh. There's creams for that.
Yeah, there is. See, I've got two studios AV room in the sense that, like, right now I'm facing my desk, and when I do videos right now, I just turn around so my desk.
I was going to ask you about that. Are you going to go back out to that garage thing that you had? Or are you going to stay where you are? I think you should just stay where you are.
The only thing about this space is that it's not a very big room. Tanadoes Tech, thank you.
Hey,
for
thanks,
the
bud.
Super chat. Much appreciated.
I think it was Tana the other day. I was going through my Instagram and I'm like, how am I not following him? So I followed him on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Stuff there.
So Danny's editing a video.
So we'll get him here one day. Yeah.
But yeah, it's what was I saying?
About the studio spaces. Like, are you going to stay? Yeah. Are you going to stay where you are? Or are you going to move back?
I think eventually I'm going to move back because this room is not very big, so it doesn't give me a lot of leeway to.
But then you got to move all that equipment.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think I'm going to move back until I build a room within a room in that studio space.
Something insulated, maybe, that's warm.
Yeah, well, that's part of it. But and also, like, I want to cut off the garage stuff, the garage door stuff, and just make that a permanent wall. Because I want to have something where I can have a studio space that has different places where I can film.
Mm-hmm. You want to have different setups and everything like that.
So a couch.
Yep.
For the leisurely videos where I'm just sitting there talking
with a pipe.
Yes.
It'd be kind of cool.
AV Room, thank you for the super chat.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I also like to have the desk set up. I don't know. Sometimes I think maybe I should stand up in videos, but then I think I did stand up one time in a video, and I asked people if it made any difference, and they're like, "You did the same thing as when you were sitting down." So
for me, I can't get the energy out and the way I want to speak unless I'm standing, and that's something I discovered at Vid Summit. So
I honestly think that if I stood up in my videos, people would think I'm insane. Like if I did my videos the way that I do them sitting down.
Well, you don't wear pants.
Well, not all the time. Just keep that in. Next time you're watching a PHT video, just keep that in your brain.
I'm going to embarrass you right now. There is, I can't remember what I think it was September last year.
Mm-hmm.
You started a stream and you thought it was turned off and you were still streaming and you were making your bed. You're there in your box. I was messaging you like crazy. I'm like, dude, turn off your camera. You're there in your boxers making this bed. You were scratching your butt. It was amazing. And there was like 35 people watching.
Hey, you know, I mean, sometimes you just gotta do it. Like it was a vlog, man. It was a vlog.
Because you didn't know that you can't just click off the Hangouts or the stream. You have to actually end it. And you know, should have seen it. Like I was messaging him like crazy on my phone, like on Facebook, and I'm like, dude, turn up. And I could see you looking over at your phone, going, another notification, another notification. And I'm like, just pick up the phone.
Andy, thank you for letting me know about that video. I'm glad that it helped you. Glad that it helped you. That means a lot. But yeah. I mean, maybe it was performance art, perhaps.
It was amazing. I'm just glad you didn't take off your boxers or something.
I don't typically take off my boxers.
Okay.
I mean, until I get in the shower or something, you know.
Now we know too much.
Well, do most people just randomly take off their underwear?
I don't know. This is a tech podcast, right?
This is a tech podcast. Stop talking about your underwear.
Jesus, come on.
Oh man, so I made a video earlier. We got a couple of topics still left that I want to talk about. I made a video earlier this week about the Note 10. The Note 10 and the fact that the S10 and S10 Plus and all those things is such a good phone. Like I think they really they didn't do anything that significantly changed this phone, but it is a more solidly put together experience than what I've had with Samsung phones in the past or S-line phones in the past.
Yep.
So what do we have in store for us with the Note 10, man? I am excited.
Apparently 4 cameras in the back.
Possibly, yes.
That's what I'm hearing. Obviously, it's going to be bigger battery. But the thing that caught my attention this week, that they're going to get rid of, like there won't be any cutout at all. And apparently the selfie cam could be in the stylus.
Yeah, that's what I found when I was looking up rumors and leaks and such, is that is a possibility. Oh, Roberto Blake in the house.
Whoa, Roberto Blake.
How you doing, Roberto, my friend? # Wizard Squad. Yeah, so that to me is a really interesting idea. They're calling it the Ascended Infinity Display. And I'm like, what the hell does that mean? Is it like gone to meet Jesus or something?
Now, here's the thing, though. Would they still have it in the bottom? Oops, sorry. Or would they have it in the top? So if you want to take a picture, you would just go and it would pop out.
I think they would have to have it in the top, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they would have to have it in the top. But the thing that worries me about putting the selfie cam in the S Pen is the phone reminds you if you walk 5 feet away from the S Pen.
Yeah.
But people do lose the S Pen.
What if you were to lose your S Pen and some pervert found it and you just started getting random weird selfies You're at home and you're like, I don't have my S Pen, and then you start getting these weird selfies.
That would be one heck of a Bluetooth connection.
That's the first thing I thought of. I don't know why.
But, I don't know why either.
But no, think about it. So this is the Note 9. Let's just say that this is the top of the phone.
Yeah.
Okay. So would it pop out of the top possibly like this? And I would hold it up a little bit like that, take my selfie, and then pop it back down? Or would it still be in the bottom? Because the stylus has always been in the bottom.
I think they would have to put it on the top. Yeah. But I think it's possible that they might do a thing that's similar to what Oppo and OnePlus and Vivo have done with their little pop-up thing.
Yeah.
Like maybe if you hit the selfie camera, the S Pen will pop up and, just deploy enough to be able to take the picture and then suck itself back down. But you have to do the depress and to release it.
Yeah. So rather than being an automated thing, which I think we're all in agreement about, moving parts is not a good idea, that it's more of a, you have to pop it up kind of thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, except for that one time, the S Pen has been, the S Pen has been really solid in terms of like not getting stuck, all that kind of stuff. There was, what was it? Was it the 7
that if you put it in the wrong way, it could get stuck. Yeah. And then it started blowing up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 6,000 milliamp hour battery. Of course, I'm surprised. Like the institutional memory of the internet surprises me.
I don't think for a second that the Note 10 will have 6,000 milliamp, because I think if I know that Samsung is not as obsessed with this as Apple once used to be with how thin a phone is,
right?
But the thickness of the Note 9, for example, right now is freaking perfect. Okay, and I can't see them going any thicker. I don't see a 6,000 milliamp battery. I see 45, maybe 5,000, maybe 5,000.
Well, here's something to stick in your pipe and smoke.
Okay.
6,000 milliamp hours seems like a lot.
Yeah.
And hold on, I'm gonna cough. I had to cough. Sorry, I muted myself out of deference to the audience. But what if what we're really talking about when we're saying 6,000 milliamp hours is the capacity of the potential graphene battery?
Oh, I don't think we're there yet. I think we would have heard more about graphene batteries by now if they were going to put one in the Note 10.
Well, we've been hearing about graphene batteries for years.
Yeah.
And when did we hear about the Infinity display? Like 3 or 4 months
last year? Was it late last year?
I think we saw potential designs, but they were all sort of like speculative.
Yeah, I remember like October. I remember after Summit, we started seeing more, and I think it was November-ish that the leak came out. That had that press or that investor conference thing, and someone took a picture of the different things. I think if a graphene battery is going to go into a Samsung, we would have heard more about the advancements in graphene technology by now.
Well, perhaps, but not necessarily.
That's just my thoughts. I mean, because graphene is such it's supposed to be such a leap ahead and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But my point is, maybe something's getting lost in translation in this, in these leaks and rumors.
Well, I'll say this though. The proof is right there. Everybody was talking about the Galaxy S10, the 10e, and the 10 Plus, and everything like that, and all these leaks and and nobody was talking about the Fold. There were hardly any leaks or thing, and I think that somewhat proves that things can be kept under wraps. So I think, yeah, you might be onto something.
Well, I mean, I know. So having gone to the event, everybody knew that the foldable phone was coming soon, quote unquote, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But I didn't have, and I don't think anybody else that I was hanging out with and talking to had any sense the Fold was going to be the focus of the event.
Well, they just threw it out there first thing. They're like, here's the cool thing now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think they could have been working on graphene batteries for all these years. And maybe because Samsung has had that past history, has just been like, we're not going to say anything until we know we got it right.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know. I just feel as though that we would know more. Maybe something will come out next month. I don't know. I think that's a real long shot.
Yeah. I don't know. The Note has the potential to be like a real shift in smartphone design if they bring all the technology that they're talking about. And I mean, what about the Wolverine screen? Self-healing.
Oh yeah, you were talking about that in your video. Yeah.
I mean, that would be awesome. And hopefully it's not like the Motorola self-healing screens.
Yeah, that was just kind of a weird
They had like this plastic
over
them, and at first you could replace the plastic, and then next model you couldn't. I don't know. Motorola has made mistakes. Mistakes were made at Motorola.
So I'm just looking at the specs really quick, so I want to make sure I don't quote anything wrong here. I'm just really quickly looking at the specs of the Note 9. So the Note 9 has a 4,000 milliamp battery. I expect this year's Note 10 to be more or less the same form factor in terms of width and tall. Okay. I expect there to be a cutout of sorts, unless more information comes down the line with this camera inside the S Pen. But I would expect a minor spec bump in with the battery up to 45. Because you and I both know from experience that the 4,000 milliamp battery of the Note 9 is still gets you through the day.
It's
wonderful.
It's quite possible, Jim, that my hair is getting more gray. Yes, it could be the angle. I don't know, but what this is this 41 or 43 milliamp hours? I keep like I know this. I know I knew the spec, but it's not on the top of my head right now.
Here, hold on, I'll tell you. I'm sure somebody will put it in the chat first before I can actually bring it up.
Because I think the S10 Plus is like either 4100 or 4300.
S10 is, geez, you think I know this off the top of my head? 41.
Okay,
so it's 100 more than the
Note.
Than the Note. So that's why I think 45 or 44 is realistic for the Note 10.
Yeah.
You know what
unless they go unless we see some sort of battery technology shift that allows them to get more power into a smaller space.
Merz is asking 4,500. I thought it was in the 5. I think you are correct with the 5G, but I really haven't dove into too much about the 5G just because here in Canada, we're not going to be rolling out nearly as much 5G as they are going in the United States. And yeah.
I mean, all I can say right now is that Samsung has, the Note 7 was great. And then they had the problems.
Yep.
And over the past couple of years, they've sort of played it safe and they've just muddled along a little bit, iterative updates, not that big a deal. The Note 8, the Note 9, good phones. The Note 9 was the most complete phone of last year. And, plus
you have to give Samsung credit for, though, is year after year with the Galaxy and the Note lines, they've always added 2 and they've never subtracted 1 plus. So do you know what I mean? They've never taken stuff away. Headphone jack.
Yeah. Although people are saying that the Note phone will be there's no headphone jack on the Fold, I don't think.
No, I mean, because and I think they get away with that because it's a completely different type of thing, right?
Yeah. So I mean, you're right. They're Zach, you know what it is. They're just not courageous enough.
Oh, it takes courage to take out that headphone jack.
Yeah, they're just not courageous enough to get rid of that headphone jack.
And create a market so people have to buy your crappy wireless and did it. Yeah, we could go on.
I mean, that's my whole thing. I wear the tinfoil hat on that one. I think Apple wanted to sell headphones, and they made it so that people had to buy headphones.
I think Apple is going to give people an option in 2020 with their devices to either continue on with Face ID. Okay, first of all, I don't think they'll ever get rid of Face ID. I sincerely believe they're still in that, and it works well. I have it on my 10R, and it works well. I've never really had any problems with it. But I think in 2020, Apple will introduce an in-display or something, maybe even on the power button, kind of like with the 10E, so people have a physical something they can push again.
See,
I know, right?
We fundamentally disagree on this.
I know, but the thing is, Andrew Edwards said it best during his takeaways when he left in his vlog from at the Samsung thing. Apple, you're on notice.
Yeah,
look what Samsung brought this year.
No, it's true. It's true. I mean, to be fair, Face ID is still like a transformative technology. Nobody has copied Face ID right now. Yep. You know, yes, you can unlock your phone with your face, but it's not the same thing as what Face ID does.
No, Face ID is a 3D mapping and everything like that, similar to how the ultrasonic is a 3D mapping through sound waves of your thumb print or fingerprint to unlock.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Ronan GG, thank you. Thank you. Thanks for stopping by to visit with us. Yeah, it's one of those things where I don't know that Apple has to come out with a foldable phone this year. I think that they will, but of course they'll do what Apple always does and wait a year and see.
Yeah. If anything that Apple does well, it's taking something existing or popular and making it just simple or just integrate properly. And it has to integrate properly into their ecosystem.
Well, you have to understand that Apple has had patents for things that would be integrated into a foldable phone for years.
Yep.
So I wouldn't be surprised if there weren't generations of prototypes of foldable phones.
Well, they probably have shelves of stuff that they've
Yeah. So they've been playing around with it, but Apple is typically not they're not the point of the spear, I guess.
Yeah, what's the quote? I think even Jobs actually said it himself, like great artist copy or something like that. I think
I think that was it Picasso who said that? And I can't remember the quote exactly, so I won't.
It's like something like artists create and great artists like copy or something like that. I don't get but yeah. Just like I said, right? Yeah.
No, it's great artists steal.
There you go. Yeah.
So I don't know. Apple is on notice, as Andrew said. They have to bring something other than like another iteration of this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. They have to bring something that is gonna. I mean, this is a perfect
blow people's minds, as Tim Apple said.
Yes.
Tim Apple.
Yeah, and I don't know what that's going to do, because I think most of us are at least familiar enough with the Apple roadmap to know that they are not scheduled for anything super exciting this year. Of course, some people say that this year was an S year, which I think is wrong.
Well, last year was an S year.
Well, this year, as in 2018, what we have right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people say that's an S year, but I disagree, because we got 2 new models of phones, 2 brand new form factors, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like iPhone 10s, even though that's what they call it.
I'm convinced that this year's 2019's phones will be called iPhone 11. There's no more Roman numerals. That was just a 2-time thing.
I think they're just gonna stick with the X.
What? No.
I think there's now. Here's what I think they should do. I think they should just call it iPhone.
Well, that's good. And then they're just going to get everybody putting in brackets 2019, 2020. I mean,
that's what they do with everything else.
That's why I'm saying I think they'll call it iPhone 11.
But it's not even the 11th iPhone. Stupid. It's stupid.
I know.
They painted themselves into a corner with this stupid naming convention.
Yeah.
And then at first they had to come up with something like the S year, because they didn't want to get what the hell does S mean? Nobody knows.
That's what it means.
So we've got the 4S. We had the 3GS. Mm-hmm. And then we had the 4, and then we had the 4S, and on and on and on.
Everybody's saying, like, what does the E mean in Galaxy S10e? I think E means just entry.
Somebody made a good argument for what it might mean, and I'm Pushpinder says iPhone XSS and XSS Max. Are they Max? Maybe they'll go full on Roman numeral, and just in a few years it'll be like the Super Bowl, like 5 different letters.
It should be interesting to see what they do, but
yeah, I don't think they have plans to do anything special, but I do think that I don't remember the last time. I don't remember if this ever happened that people went out to get a Samsung S phone on launch day and couldn't get it. When has that ever happened?
There were no pluses for anybody to find, apparently, until Monday.
Well, I mean, I got mine because I live.
Well, you're in the middle of nowhere.
I live in Iowa, and and nobody was waiting.
But I mean, the channel Tech Avengers, they're local guys here in Calgary. They got their 10Es on Thursday last week.
Right.
And then some people that I know that also order from Samsung Canada got their 10s and their 10Es on Friday. I had to wait till Monday. Mine actually wasn't shipped until Friday.
Right.
So
Jeff says he still can't get a 10S or a 10 Plus.
That blows my mind that T-Mobile doesn't have anything, especially in San Francisco where they launched the frickin' thing. Do you know what I mean? Like the optics of that, it just kind of blows me away. Yeah.
But when was the last time we ever had to talk about this?
I don't think ever.
A Samsung phone ever.
I don't think ever.
Now, did Samsung decide to start doing what Apple does and limit supply?
I think
artificially limiting supply to create demand.
Based on what I know about the Canadian supply and what the different corporate and dealer and carrier vendors had access to, there was plenty of 10 and 10E to have on the shelves for Friday for launch, but they had to wait to Monday for the Plus stuff because Samsung made a lot of E's and a lot of 10s because of the price point and because of the price points on contract. And they didn't expect such a surge of popularity of the Plus. Now that's already been fixed, that quickly. Right? Now, more stock was sent to the United States, obviously, because of population density and demand compared to Canada. But that Canada really didn't get a lot of the pluses up here.
Right.
Of all of my...
Maybe the pluses were too heavy for the sled dogs.
I don't know. Polar bears.
The sled dogs could not pull the cartons of
either way
it's as fast.
But either way, it's rectified. Like I called around to a few of my carrier guys today, and they have plenty of everything now.
Yeah.
So they obviously rectified that very quickly.
Yeah. I point this out only to bring up the possibility that it's entirely possible that Samsung has been nipping at the heels of Apple all this time.
Mm-hmm.
And their phones are now mature enough, polished enough. They offer more features.
There's more of a integration with accessories, Icon X, buds.
Right. It's possible that if Apple brings it this year, they'll be fine.
Yep.
But I think if Apple punts this year waiting for next year, then Samsung can chew up some market share.
Yeah. I have a handful of friends, 2 or 3 of them, that they typically swap every couple years between an iPhone or a Samsung or an LG or whatever, and they're all going to be picking up either 10 or 10Es this year because they just really looked at the phones. They're like, that looks really nice, and if it takes great pictures and I can do Facebook and Instagram, then I'm they're not so drawn into the whole AirDrop and this and that, right? Which are compelling reasons to stay within the Apple ecosystem. I've admitted before. I did a whole video about AirDrop and how much I loved it. But will not having AirDrop kill that you can't? What you can't? Will it? Okay, let me rephrase that. Will not, as an example, will not having AirDrop, will you not be able to do what you need to do? No, but it will be as efficient. It won't be as efficient yet, right?
Yeah, I think AirDrop is big for people who use Apple products for productivity, which isn't probably a huge in the larger scope of Apple. The productivity market is probably not as big as just the new iPhone. But I do think that Genosis asks if they have more features, but will most people use them? I don't know. I mean, I think that Samsung's phones a few years ago were kind of a mess of just like, you can do this, you can do that, you can scroll with your eyes, you can blah blah blah.
Have you tried the speaking of mess and everything like that and just making things easier? Have you tried the Instagram feature on here?
No, not yet.
So if you go into the camera and then you scroll over and you pick Instagram, it'll instantly, whatever you take a picture of, push that to your Instagram.
Oh,
yeah, very cool.
That is cool.
So you can push it immediately from there into your story, or onto your regular Instagram. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, that is cool because there's nothing more annoying than what I want to be able to do. Oftentimes, I want to post, largely the same thing to 3 different platforms, right? I just want to just let me do it. Let me select Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and I type the little whatever I'm going to say and I send it.
Yep.
Why can't we all just get along? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But no, I think that's really cool, and that it's integrated into the phone or into the camera app is pretty cool.
If you have multiple Instagram accounts, it'll post to the last account you're logged into. So, for example, I have a personal account, and then I have my Zach Talks Tech stuff.
Sure.
So you have to make sure that you're on the last account. It doesn't allow you to pick from there, but I just thought that was really cool. I could pick the filters, and then boom, right? So, So, for example, this weekend, I'm going to be going out to the mountains to do camera, to kind of do a vlogging camera showcase and video showcase of this. And I figured the mountains, the Rocky Mountains of Canada, my backyard, were a great backdrop for that. Plus, it's a great excuse for me to get out there and take the fam. And, as I'm doing this, I'm going to just leave it logged into my Zach Talks Tech, and I'll be pushing the story. People can kind of follow along for the day, and then they'll be able to see the final thoughts and everything in the final video next week. So I think that's really that helps me, because rather than taking the picture and then going to Instagram, or going from Instagram and then taking the picture from within Instagram, I hate taking photos within Instagram. Yeah, I like to take them default first. So no, Gianosis, I'm going up either Lake Louise or I'm going to head down to Longview. So haven't decided if we're going to go south or go west. But probably out to Lake Louise though. So,
well, here in Iowa, there ain't nothing worth taking a picture of. It's just crusty, dirty, half melted snow, and like piss yellow dead grass.
Yeah, things are still melting fairly slowly here, but we had some plus temperatures today, which means things are melting. So
yeah. Yeah. So, which is a bummer. I mean, I want to be outside doing things.
Mm-hmm.
I went out and wore sunglasses for the first time in like all winter.
Feels good, right?
Yeah. So it's I don't know. Hefe, thank you for being here, man.
I like that Jeff guy. Nicest guy in tech.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Good to see you all. In fact, I mean, we're going to roll for another 10 minutes or so, and then I think we're going to be done.
Yeah.
Then I think we're going to be done because, we have to train ourselves to be more succinct in podcast form.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, here's a question for you guys out in the chat. If we released in podcast form like 3 hours worth of us talking, would you download and listen to that? I mean, this obviously like not a representative, sort of unbiased audience. But yeah, I mean, we lost. Where was Tech Rant telling us to stay on target tonight?
I didn't see Tech Rant at all in the chat. Did you?
No, he's slacking.
He must be ranting on something.
Slacking.
I'm enjoying his content lately.
So. Oh yeah. Yep. Who's going to pay you for what, Mike Carberry? Not a podcast person. Man, podcasts are awesome. I listen to podcasts more than anything else now. Well,
I listen to them
audiobooks and podcasts.
When I'm driving, that's when I get the most out of them.
Roberto is playing the role of Tech Rant this evening. Thank you, Roberto. So let's round out the discussion with something that maybe will become a regular feature. What do we want to? What are we excited about for the week to come, either in tech or otherwise? What are you excited?
Like the rest of this week?
Until we next speak with our listeners.
I don't have anything to say. I can't think of anything, to tell you the truth. There's no other immediate releases coming up I know of. I know that there's a Pixel Lite that'll be announced on April 1st.
Pixel Lite.
Pixel 3 Lite.
I could make all kinds of jokes about that right now.
It's coming, man. April 1st will be announced.
Yeah, Pixel Lite. I don't know.
3 Lite.
I don't know. Maybe this is a bad idea for a segment because I don't know what I'm excited about either.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm just excited about getting more use out of this phone and taking some more pictures. And I mean, I've put everything into this. Is my daily driver? Like the note is turned off.
You said it.
Did I say daily? Oh my god, I said it. Daily device.
Yeah, your everyday wear or whatever. I don't know what daily driver though. It's
the thing in my pocket. Wait, that doesn't sound good.
Is that a daily driver in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?
You said it too.
I know. I was saying it to make a joke.
Okay. So do you want to give a movie assignment this week? Like on Netflix, most people have access to.
Yeah. Let me think. I was watching something good on Netflix, so let me go to Netflix while we continue our discussion.
Okay.
To remind myself of what it is that I was excited about on Netflix.
Like I said, I watched Lucy on the other night, and it was weird. Okay. Here's my movie assignment for everybody. It's I wouldn't say older, but I mean it's obviously been out for a few years now. Actually, 2014, I think. And I just randomly rented it last night, and I'm going to watch it again tonight. Wolf of Wall Street. Wolf of Wall Street. There's a scene in this movie where they take these drugs and they just keep on taking. Nothing's happening, and DiCaprio's character, Jordan, I can't remember his last name. He can't walk. He's crawling out of the country club into a Lamborghini, and he's full on drool face. I just howling. I woke up my daughter last night laughing so hard. I was just howling. So that's going to be my pick for you guys.
Okay.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Okay. So I'll go with something. I'll go with something different.
Okay.
So because I wanted to see if that movie was on Netflix, because it used to be on Netflix. I guess it's not.
Wolf Wall, yeah, it was. Yeah. It was.
But that search just reminded me that No Country for Old Men.
Ooh, good.
Is on Netflix right now, and that.
Oh, is Boiler Room on there?
Boiler Room.
Boiler Room is kind of the same sort of like stocks and everything like that. It has a very young Vin Diesel. There's a lot of names in there.
That movie. It's not on here, but you know what? Of course, the best sort of business-related movie ever. And of course, now I'm blanking on the name. The one with Alec Baldwin, Coffees for Closers. Always Be Selling.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Dang it.
David Mamet wrote the freaking play. Why can't I? Oh no! Why does this happen to me? I blame the medication.
You know, we probably could do a Google and figure it out. Glenn Ross.
Glenn Ross.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Glenn Ross.
Thank you, Roberto. Roberto's
Roberto's
probably sitting there like hitting his head, like, what is with these guys? They don't notice.
Yeah. I think that my brain is quickly turning into Swiss cheese.
Well, it's been 2 hours. So my pick is gonna be Wolf of Wall Street, and yours is gonna be
well, since you've got the business thing covered this week, I'll say No Country for Old Men. Although, I binge watched Unsolved, the Tupac and Biggie murder thing.
I watched some of that too. Yeah.
I watched the whole thing, 10 episodes in one night.
Wow, that's dedication.
Well, see, I get into these mystery things,
conspiracy,
and yeah. And so it was really interesting. And the thing that I thought was pretty cool about it, it's a dramatized thing. So it's actors playing these characters, and at first I thought like, oh, maybe it's a documentary, but then I was like, oh, these are actors. But the actors that they got to play Tupac and Biggie Smalls look so much like them.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, it was eerie.
It helps immerse you into it. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it really, if you're into like mystery type stuff or conspiracy type stuff, Unsolved on Netflix right now, that's definitely worth watching. Like I knew generally about the whole thing that happened with those guys, both getting killed around, within months of one another. But I did not really pay a ton of attention to all the other stuff that was going on.
You know what's really good too? There's a series on there. There's only 5 or 6 episodes. The Toys That Made Us.
The Toys That Made Us. I remember seeing that.
Yeah, so they do a whole episode on Lego, a whole one on Transformers. There's one on like, I think Barbie and like G.I. Joe and like He-Man. It's really good. The Toys That Made Us.
Yeah.
Just a lot of fun. Like I watched the Transformer one with my son, and he was just like, "Did you have that one? Did you have that one?" I'm like, "I used to have it, and no, I sold it." And
yeah,
but it's really cool, like knowing the history, like for example about Transformers and how they. It's cool.
Yeah,
the Toys That Made Us. Yeah, there's different. There's they do a whole thing on Star Wars, which is really cool. Yeah.
I think I remember watching part of one of those, and it was just one of those things where I was watching, but then I went to I had to go do something or whatever, probably make a video or whatever, and then didn't come back to it.
But Jake Crow says here, Amazon Prime. It just reminded me of this. You know what I found the other day on Amazon Prime? 21 Jump Street. 21 Jump Street.
Like the TV show.
Like the TV show with Richard Grieco and Johnny Depp and
Holly Robinson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is some good stuff. Amazon Prime has some good stuff on there now.
They have Baywatch on there.
Well, I said good stuff. Said good stuff. I mean, after Knight Rider.
Is Knight Rider on there?
No, but I'm just saying, like, that was the pinnacle of David Hasselhoff's career, and it was all downhill from there. I mean, certainly there wasn't as much, to look at in Knight Rider, but I love Knight Rider.
Oh, by the way, you need to look this up after we're done.
Okay.
On YouTube, look up Foo Fighters and Rick Astley performing together.
I've seen this.
Have you seen it?
I've seen this. Yes.
They're going to give you up. Amazing.
Yeah, Rick Astley seemed like he was
in the crowd there just to hang out, and they saw him. He's like, "Hey, will you come up here?" It turned into like a jam session.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. It was pretty funny. I mean, I've also seen Foo Fighters bring a 10-year-old kid on stage
to play drumming and everything like that. Yep.
No, to play guitar, like a Metallica song or something.
Okay. Green Day did something similar here in Calgary. They brought a 10-year-old, 10 or 11-year-old on to do the drums, and he just smashed it. It was amazing.
Right.
I don't know how I came across him. I recommended Rick Astley and Foo Fighters. I'm like, all right, sure. It's 2 a.m. I'll watch this. It was just amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, we're going way off topic. It started with movie recommendations.
Well, I mean, we've given recommendations. This is a whole bevy of things that you guys could go check out.
Yeah, check it out.
All of it good, except for Baywatch. Don't watch that. And Mike Carberry, glad to hear from you, and sad to hear you're in Des Moines, which is Des Moines. It's an Iowa joke. Sorry.
I was gonna say what?
Yeah, it's an Iowa joke.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, thank you all so much for hanging out. Really do appreciate it. We made it to 2 hours exactly. That's progress. Progress. We'll be back again next week as we continue our run up to the formal actual release of this podcast as a podcast.
Are we going to keep the start time the same?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, probably.
I kind of like starting an hour earlier because it gives me time to still do stuff in the evening.
Well, yeah. I mean, I like doing it an hour earlier because I want to go to sleep and watch TV and stuff like that. So anyway, thank you all for being here once again. I really do appreciate it. If you're new to the channel and just stopped in for the first time, I hope we didn't scare you off. Say thanks again to my good friend. What's your name again?
Back. I just put my channel link in the chat there. If you guys want to check me out and what I'm doing over there, that would be cool. I'm also on all the social medias using the same name. So, yeah.
And of course, if you're here, then you know what my channel is. So,
Painfully Honest Tech.
Yes,
it's tech so honest.
So honest, it hurts, folks. Thanks so much for being here. I think I already said that. We'll be back again next week. Until the next time, I got to get the freaking window up here so I can turn it off. All right. If this were actually the podcast, we would have to edit. Until the next time, my name is Jason, sometimes known as the JTL. That guy over there is Zach. And this has been the Painfully Honest Tech Podcast. Podcast so honest it hurts. Until the next time, we're out.